Well, it's incumbent upon me, of course, to say that the Israeli government continues to state that genocidal acts are not taking place in Gaza.
You don't ask the perpetrator, the perpetrator of genocide.
We have to ask the Israeli. Let me just repeat what you probably heard me say, that the IDF have said in their statement regarding this attack in Khan Yunis. They said that the IDF evacuated civilians from this area for their own safety, and they are now reviewing the claim, as they put it, regarding harm to uninvolved civilians. You've been a paediatrician for a long time.
Yes.
How would you characterise, if you can, and I can hear the distress in your voice, how would you characterise what you're seeing in Gaza when you go there to work?
So first of all, in response to that retort or that supposed justification, we've been hearing these for 19 months, and half of the time they're lies and they're subsequently debunked. We know there are lies. And the rest of the time, frankly, they're just preposterous. Every 35 of 36 hospitals in Gaza have been targeted. The hospital I was working in, the same hospital that Dr. Alaa was working in, was hit with a drone strike while I was there. Just the floor above me, killing 2 patients and injuring several others. It has been hit twice since then. So twice since March 23rd, that same hospital has been hit. I had an intensive care unit that was filled with maimed children, orphan children, children who were the sole survivors of their family, children who'd lost every single sibling and whose parents weren't able to come visit them because they themselves were injured in the adjacent building. This was my experience this year. This was my experience last year. So to hear even airtime being given to these preposterous justifications by the Israeli spokespeople, when every single credible human rights organization, every single credible humanitarian organization is coming on delivering the same consistent message, saying this is consistent with genocide, saying that these are crimes against humanity, saying that civilian and humanitarian infrastructure is repeatedly and systematically targeted. I just don't even understand why we're giving these claims airtime anymore.
Well,
instead of focusing on credible organizations who are bravely...
Dr. Hassan, we certainly do that. We certainly do that. And indeed, in the last week, we've also been reporting on how allies of Israel, namely France, Canada and the United Kingdom, have been extremely critical of Israel's renewed military operation in Gaza. But you will understand why we have to reflect what the IDF says when we go to them.
When we've experienced genocides of the past, and we've avowed as a people to say we're not going to allow these things to happen again, and yet we've allowed them to happen for 19 consecutive months now.
Well, it's incumbent upon me, of course, to say that the Israeli government continues to state that genocidal acts are not taking place in Gaza.
You don't ask the perpetrator, the perpetrator of genocide.
We have to ask the Israeli, Dr. Hassan, we have to ask the Israeli government for their response to these things.
Right.
And that is, sorry to talk across you, but as you know, that is the response they give. And that is what we are reflecting. I would
appreciate it if you also, in addition to that response, mentioned that Amnesty International, Doctors Without Borders, Human Rights Watch, the International Court of Justice would all beg to differ.
And also, we have reported as well, in only March, we reported on a number of instances whereby UN officials, including the Special Rapporteur to Gaza, have described genocidal acts as taking place, and we have reported that. Tanya Haj Hassan, thank you so much for talking to us from Jordan under what are extremely distressing situations for you. Thank you very much. And there's much more on that story, of course, on the BBC News website.